Well, back to one of our leading stories. Today, delegates at the 8th ANC Ekurhuleni conference are still failing to agree on credentials. The conference got off to a slow start yesterday after being delayed for more than 24 hours. The delegates are still in plenary at this moment after almost 12 hours. Newzroom Afrika's Pelane Phakgadi is at the Indaba Conference Centre in Fourways, the venue of the conference, and he joins us now. Pelane, I wonder, has the dust settled at all this morning? Are we likely to start seeing things finally get underway?
Well, finally, I think at this current moment, it's a very strong word. I would say strong in the sense that we have not seen any kind of movement beyond the credentials item. You do know that the province in itself was already delayed by around 24 hours when it eventually started yesterday afternoon. And David Makhura is the ANC chairperson in the province, coming through to talk very strongly about the animosity that has really met him here at the conference, where he had seen, he said, a lot of arms that he has never seen in his life. As a matter of fact, even equating the scenes here to that of a Ukraine kind of an area, saying that it's a war zone, seeing so much security coming through into the area, and only for an ANC conference, and saying that should end at some point. Of course, since then, we do know that there has been the program, of course, being led by Mzwandile Masina as the current convener, really, to come and deal with issues of political report. Yet given the political report now while there was still a number of delegates that were still not yet inside the venue in itself, and then it was of course coming through to adjourn. And when they re-adjourned at around 9:30, 10 o'clock at the early evening, the credentials issue began. And I can tell you, they've just taken a break now, and they're going to be going back to talk about it. Let me bring in Andile. He's one of the delegates here. Andile, you guys are still deadlocked here. What is the bone or the contestation really? Why are you not able to move through the credentials point?
As we have indicated yesterday, that there's an issue of branches that were sidelined. Remember, I would have mentioned 7 branches yesterday, that those branches has been disqualified without following proper processes of guidelines and the constitution of the organization. Therefore, at least we have been able to engage in conference and in plenary until we had successfully reinstated 2 of those branches. But there's still an outstanding discussion around the remaining 5 branches. And we are still firm around that the conference cannot adopt credentials until those issues have been clarified. As I would have indicated again, that there will be issues that are contained in the verification report that do not exist in the guidelines that guides conference, guidelines that have been adopted by the National Executive Committee. For an example, you will find that a branch will have set, and the verification report says the branch he would have used manual scanning of more than 10%. So our question or our engagement there will be, please tell us, where did you get that particular issue, and because it does not exist in the ANC guidelines.
Now, talk to me now about what should we expect now moving forward. It has been about 10 hours now of talking about credentials. Will there be a sign of at least adoption so that you can now move to the nomination elections and as well as the policy discussions? Should that even happen? Because now you are 24 hours delayed.
We want to adopt guidelines. We want to adopt credentials. We are keen to adopt credentials, but we are therefore saying those branches that would have left them outside the gate, since we would have realized there's an army that was brought to conference by the current leadership. They are still there, and we are saying let them be allowed to come in, participate, and when we go to the voting process, we support the view that it's fine, they can be quarantined until leadership attend to the issue on Monday, and once it's resolved, we'll accept any outcome or any resolution from the senior leadership. What we are glad of is that we have made a call for the PEC to come down and intervene. We have made a call from the NEC to come down and intervene. And we have realized yesterday our call has been heard. The leadership has always been here. They are still here with us, trying to intervene. They've break now. They are trying to engage as a steering committee on this issue in particular. So we'll go back and hear what would have been their discussion. Then we can be able to proceed with the process of conference.
And thank you very much there. Of course, the delegates here still very much hopeful that they will be able to adopt some credentials. But of course, that is still a long way to go, because there still has to be an agreement between all the groups that are here. And I've told you a little bit earlier on, even yesterday, when we'll be talking about why there's been so much contestation. There's a lobby group calling itself Segrant, another side calling it itself Aduwele. Aduwele being led by Mzwandile Masina as the lobby group champion there, who wants to return as chairperson. And then there's that Segrant lobby group in itself that is currently being led by Dr. Kagaza, who's the current treasurer of the region, and is also vying for the chairpersonship. And with all said and done, you've seen that there is still a number of delegates supporting each one lobby group, and only when they are sure that all their branches, as far as they are concerned, the disputes have been resolved, although some of them may not be in their favor, only then will they then be able to adopt credentials here. So 10 hours and still counting, perhaps, just perhaps, at some point they'll be able to meet one another and adopt the credentials so that they can move to the nomination, elections of official office bearers, and of course even policy discussions, because it will be very important for them to do the policy discussion in particular relation to ahead of the provincial conference of the African National Congress, and of course in retrospect the policy conference that is scheduled to begin around July.
Yes, well, officials are clearly quite keen to see the adoption of those credentials. I suppose only time will actually tell whether or not processes will eventually get underway. That's our reporter, Pelane Phakgadi, out at the Indaba Conference Centre in Fourways, monitoring developments out of that Ekurhuleni regional ANC elective conference. Up